Over the last few months, many of us have been working a lot more from home and saving a lot more money. We've developed good habits over that period of time, and we've been receiving messages from people in our community asking us how they can maintain those good habits. The minute things start to open up, they don't find themselves returning back to their old ways and spending a lot more money than they would ordinarily. I looked at the average savings rate in the UK. So just to give you some perspective, typically the average savings rate for a family in the UK hovers between 5% and 9% on average. But as at last year, this peaked at 26.5%, down to what's been going on globally around the world. And at the moment sits at around 16.5%. So for a lot more people, seeing their money saved and perhaps invested and so on has been a truly rewarding thing for them. So today I want to speak to you on this video very candidly around practical things that we're doing in our lives to build good habits and maintain them. These are things that you can take on board today and literally start implementing in your life, such that those good habits that you've began to form as a result of working more from home, and so on, carry on and become your new normal. And you can begin to see a lot more of your money in order to help you achieve a lot more of your goals a lot faster. Guys, as you're watching this video today, I'd love for you to please make sure you hit that subscribe button, because that's helping us on our journey towards exceeding 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And we'd absolutely love your support. Don't forget to hit that like button as well, because that just helps to get this video promoted to so many more people. Okay, so the first tip I've got for you to help you build and maintain good habits is the idea of implementing habit stacking. So I've previously spoken to you on this channel about the idea of talent stacking, but today I want to explore habit stacking, which is where the formula looks something like this. After I do X, I would do Y, and after I do Y, I will do Z. X, Y, and Z are different habits that you might have in your life already, existing habits. Or it could be a case where X and Y are existing habits, such as you brushing your teeth or you having breakfast, but Z becomes a new habit that you want to implement in your own life. So I've got my planner here, my physical planner, that I want to actually show you a good example of what that looks like in my life. So this is my regular planner. Every week I write down my daily big three, and then I also have this bit here which has a habit tracker where I'm writing down what I'm doing I'm trying to improve in my life. So I've got here, wake up at 5 a.m, drink H2O every 90 minutes, read a book, at least a chapter a day, pray daily, and exercise daily. And then I tick them off here just to show that I've done them on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the way to Saturday and Sunday. But what's interesting about showing you these various habits is that I'm referring to this idea of habit stacking. So where I've got there, wake up at 5 a.m. and drink H2O, if I was somebody who was still trying to get a handle on my finances, I wanted to really maintain some of the good habits I've been building, something I could slot into after drinking H2O could be that I might want to review my bank account, for example, or that I might want to review my budget, for example. But the idea essentially is to take a habit that you're trying to form and slot that habit in with existing habits, essentially stacking it such that you give yourself the greatest chance or possibility that you will actually keep building upon that habit until it becomes a part of who you are every day. Okay, so the second tip I've got for you today is around positive conversations. Now, one of the biggest hacks out there, and this is speaking specifically to couples, if you've got a partner out there, biggest challenges we have with relationships is that we are massively distracted. Even when we're with our partners, we find ourselves distracted by our phones and things. We're both scrolling, and it's not uncommon almost to see two people who are meant to be in a loving relationship sitting right next to each other, but both kind of scrolling on their phones rather than kind of staring into each other's eyes, or maybe just having a simple conversation. A really powerful tool for helping you really build upon and maintain very good money habits when it comes to couples is for you to really bring in place an intended conversation. So Mary and I, my wife Mary and I, have a thing where we practice the money day. The money day is a day in the month where we meet. There's a specific time. So we meet on a specific day. So this first day of the month at around 6 a.m. because we wake up at 5 a.m. ordinarily. There's a specific place. We meet in our study and we sit down and make ourselves, some tea and might have some biscuits to make it a bit fun. And then there's an intention. So we have a mini agenda of usually 1 to 3 things that we want to talk about, which might include, how are our goals going? How are the dreams we're working towards going? And how exactly are we doing against those goals more specifically? What savings rate do we have? How much did we invest last month and into what exactly did we invest money? The reason why this is important is because what you find is that as most of us have been working from home, we've been able to see our partners a lot more. As things start to open up and life starts to change, you might find that those dynamics begin to change. But if you've put in place a really effective money day, is what we're calling it. We do ours once a month. You could do yours once a week or once every 2 weeks. If you put in place a really effective money day, you find that not only are you on the same page with your partner, in that you both know what's going on in your financial lives and you really feel like you're a part of a team and working towards something really powerful and really positive, but you find that you actually build a really powerful habit. And that habit is one of not only talking about money, but actually keeping up with your money goals and keeping up with the various things that you're working towards and actually self-evaluating yourself as to whether you are on track or off track and making a decision based on that as to what you need to do next as a result of having that specific conversation on your money day. So the key points to remember are these: think time, think place, think intention. And all 3 of them are what you need to have an effective money day in place. The third tip I've got for you when it comes to building money habits and maintaining them is to put in place automations. So one thing I've noticed very practically with a lot of people when it comes to connecting their intentions to actually seeing results is that there's a step missing in the middle. And that step is putting in place relevant automations. So many of us, if we're good, go as far as actually saving our money. So we might see our money in our current accounts, for example, or even in our savings accounts, or even in our ISAs, our individual savings accounts. But what then happens is that there's a missing piece in there, in that a lot of us who have the intentions, for example, to invest our money or build a habit of investing and making our money work and grow for us, actually don't put in place effective automations. We don't choose a specific investment to actually get to work for us. We don't put in place a standing order that actually goes out each month in order for that habit to be built upon. So at this very stage of your money journey, if you're someone who has been building some good habits and would love to maintain them, a very simple thing you can do today is ask yourself, what automations are missing in our financial lives right now? What am I doing manually right now that I perhaps should consider automating and making it, something that just happens without my emotions getting in the way? What you find is that this idea of putting in place effective automations actually goes beyond just helping you build good money habits, but ultimately it's helping you achieve almost a key fundamental aspect of wealth building over time, which is to help you live below your means. Because what you find when you set up the right automations in your life such that money gets deployed to the right places, you find that ultimately what happens is that you adjust to living to what's left over after money has gone off into various pots that you might have created. So action point for you today is to ask yourself, what automations am I potentially missing in my life today? And what should I be doing right now to put those automations in place? Tip number 4 is that of environment design. Yes. So again, I speak to you a great deal about life design on this channel. I've spoken to you about this idea of simplifying your life driven by simplifying your environment. This idea also applies specifically to your money. For example, if you want to make a habit a key part of your life ordinarily, a key way of doing that is to put certain triggers in place in your day-to-day environment. Let's pick the example of you paying off debt. Let's say, for example, you wanted to build upon this habit of consistently paying down your debt towards a debt freedom date in the future. One way you could find yourself really building that habit and making it a part of who you are is, for example, to have a visual debt tracker in place, something that you can see, something that really encourages you to keep on with that journey of, resisting the temptation to spend, but actually committing your money towards paying down your debt. In the same way that introducing certain triggers or cues into our environments helps us to build upon good habits, taking certain things out of our environment also has the same effect as well. Let's say, for example, you're someone who has a bad habit of spending on their credit card whenever they go out to the local shopping mall or to the supermarket, for example. One way of really beginning to reverse that through environment design could be by simply, taking your credit card that you might ordinarily put by your bedside or put in your wallet, for example, essentially taking those out and keeping those out of sight. It's so common for us to want to go out and pick up our car keys and pick up our wallet or pick up a credit card and make that a part of our day-to-day routine. A good way to begin to reverse that could be just simply removing, almost extracting that piece, that cue or that trigger away from our environment. And by not seeing that thing, it will invariably lead to us spending a lot less because we're not connecting the need for us to pick up our cards with the need for us to spend whenever we go to a specific destination. In short, environment design actually goes beyond helping us build and maintain good habits. It actually goes as far as helping us ultimately regain control of our lives. Tip number 5 is to build in a reward. Now, research from scientists has shown that dopamine is released in our brains whenever we do something pleasurable, whether it's that we're eating chocolate, we're doing something that's just completely pleasurable, something we really look forward to. But it's very interesting, that same idea also applies to when we expect something or when we anticipate something like a reward, for example. That same dopamine that's released also applies to motivation. The key thought for maintaining and building good money habits is to balance our need for something on one hand with our want for something on another hand. So let's say, for example, you wanted a really nice holiday, okay? Maybe in like 3 to 6 months or something. So you can balance that, the want for that holiday down the line in a few months with the need for you to save money, at a certain rate in order to be able to reward yourself with that holiday. Let's say you said to yourself, if I maintained a savings rate of 30% and above consistently for 6 months, then I would reward myself with a weekend away somewhere, that costs less than £500. The fact that you've connected your want for a weekend away with your need to maintain a certain savings rate will give you the motivation, that dopamine will be released due to that anticipated reward and give you that motivation to act in order to build upon that habit and achieve that reward ultimately. Another example could be that you said to yourself, do you know what? I'd love to watch a classic movie for about 3 hours at the weekend. In order to have that want, you can building a need that comes before that. You say to yourself, if I devoted 1 hour per day towards my side hustle from Monday to Friday, then my reward at the end of that week could be that I then treat myself to 3 hours of a classic epic movie, for example. Again, that dopamine release will give you that motivation to really act and build upon that habit of sowing that 1 hour per day for 5 days in order to then give yourself that reward at the end of the week as a result of achieving that thing that you really need in your life in the first place. A practical way to really apply this to your life today is ask yourself, what good money habits am I trying to form in my life, and what reward could I attach to that money habit in order to give me the motivation to make that money habit a key part of my life day to day. You find that the minute you connect a reward, which is a want, to that good money habit, which is a need, you find that that combination of that need and that want is what you need to gradually make that money habit a norm in your life. Guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Tied to my last point, what reward have you given yourself for trying to implement specific good habits in your life? It'd be really interesting to know what our community are rewarding themselves with for trying to implement such habits in their lives. Drop it in the comments and let's talk about it. I'd also love to know from you which of the 5 ideas I shared today really hit home for you. Jump in there and I'm going to be in the comments in the first 1 hour of this video being released, responding to your comments and just having a conversation with you. Thank you so much for watching this video again today. Don't forget to hit the like, hit the share, and above all, please make sure you subscribe and support our channel here at The Humble Penny. Now, since you enjoyed this video on habits, I'd love for you to check out the videos we made recently to the side on other ideas around how you can build rich habits instead of poor habits in your life. And as ever, in all things, be thankful and seek joy. Bye for now.